Eric and I not only have the bond of home improvement, and you being basically you were a contractor, but you did bathrooms.
I did.
Mainly. That was
well, kitchens too.
Kitchens and bathrooms.
Yeah.
But you weren't just a tile contractor.
No. I ended up being a general and doing remodels for all sorts of folks.
And we did a little show called Top Gear, which turned out quite nicely. I don't know if you ever saw the finished product.
I sure did. I thought I laughed out loud. My kids loved it.
It was a shame that it never made the air, but as far as we go, I feel like it was mission accomplished because you did a great job on it.
Well, thanks.
Of
course, you were genius.
I was a genius. But we had, their idea was we should go through Death Valley in these old clunkers. And I don't know what month did we go through Death Valley?
It was the hottest month that you could go through. Because it was the summer, I know. It was like August, I think. Yeah. July or August.
And now you stop me if I'm exaggerating about this, but when we drove through Death Valley, and we drove an entire day through Death Valley, we got to Badwater Basin.
Lowest point on Earth.
Lowest point in North America.
In North America, there. Right,
on this hemisphere, I guess. Maybe not on Earth. And by the way, it's funny how unimpressively low the lowest point on Earth is. It's like, not on Earth, but in North America or in this hemisphere, or whatever it is. It's like 270 feet. Right. 275 feet or something below sea level or something like that.
And there's no reference to it because there are mountains all around you, so it doesn't feel any different than any other valley.
There is a mark on the mountain behind Badwater Basin that says this is where sea level would be. Now, we weren't in cars that were air conditioned.
Right.
But when I got into like the Suburban or whatever we'd rented that was running nonstop.
Which, by the way, was about an ambient temperature with AC about 100.
Yeah, with the air going the whole time. And I was looking at the readout on the, I think it was the rear view mirror had the temperature thing worked, that little square that had the temperature worked into it.
Right.
I think I got a picture of it, or somebody got a picture of it. At one point, it went to like 131.
Right.
Like we're not talking about 118 or 120. We're talking about 129, 130, 131. That's
let me tell you how I knew it was hot was that I pissed into the wind and the piss spray came back toward me but evaporated before it hit my torso, so I had nothing on my body.
See, if you just hung that Visqueen on your balls, you could have avoided
that. It's a recurring theme.
Right. And I don't, like, I know you guys know I know how to complain, but I can't do this justice. I can't tell you what 130 degrees feels like when you're outside.
Right.
I mean, a 105 is oppressive. Somehow, the difference, I guess it's that sort of thing where, if it's 95 degrees outside, it's a hot day, but you can still mow the lawn.
Sure.
If it's 107 degrees outside, you can't go outside.
Right.
Well, the difference between 107 and 128 degrees is mammoth.
That's it.
It is.
I found my brain stopped working, so I couldn't express things that I needed. I just kind of was dribbling and drooling and wandering around.
I was in Firebird. Thank God it was Midnight Blue.
Your car actually was the champion.
Yeah.
People need to know that.
My car was a Midnight Blue Firebird, so it really soaked up the heat. It had no headliner in it, so the heat that was radiating off of my head, I'm a tall guy, it's a Firebird, my head was about 1.5 inches or 2 inches away from the sheet metal that you could fry fucking egg on.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it was, you would burn your hand if you touch the roof of my car from the inside where the headliner wasn't.
Right.
And I had my car rigged up as part of the challenge with a wall mount air conditioning, like an AC unit, like out of a cheap motel room, and a generator on the back of the car. But it didn't work. And I would be frequently driving for an hour at a time in 125-degree weather with zero air conditioning in my car, and it was backbreaking.
No, it was bad. And then my system of cooling was one of those hand-pumping devices with a shower head rigged.
Hudson sprayer.
A Hudson sprayer with a hand shower, and it did.
And an awning.
And an awning, yeah. So it essentially looked like a cruise ship or something.
And Eric was driving, I don't know, 83, 84, 944
yeah.
Porsche.
Yeah.
And at some point, blew a partial head gasket, or
Right.
partially blew a head gasket, but that was before we entered Death Valley, and decided to keep trucking anyway, but the car kept overheating.
And
right?
you were kind enough to get behind my vehicle on the highway and just shove my car forward by ramming me several times. So it worked out pretty well. It was actually a dream come true to be able to be on a highway with other friends and just screw around and try and fuck each other's car up.
Bump each other and screw around.
Yeah.
Tanner Faust, who just got nipped at the X Games, by the way, recently, sadly, in the rally division, made it to the semifinals, was going up against a guy who was really fast, but they were neck and neck, and just sort of blew the shift kind of thing, just like missed
really?
the turn.
It came down to that. Was it that same guy that he's always 1 and 2 with, Travis?
No, it's not Pastrana. This was another up-and-coming kid from like Australia. But anyway, Tanner, great driver, great drifter. And, one of memories. So driving through Death Valley, that kind of heat inside that car was absolutely unbelievable. We also, our base camp was in Pahrump. And Jesus Christ, I didn't know. I'd heard of the town.
Yeah, isn't it it's a hooker haven or something. What is it? The brothel capital of the world?
It's when hookers run out of speed, like when hookers decide to hang up their stripping wedgies and their hooker wedgies and just start making meth. That's where they go.
That's it. And they used the lucite heels and melted down to create lab equipment.
We stayed in about the nicest place you could stay in Pahrump, but that was not very nice.
No, it wasn't. But and there's also some isn't there some UFO activity associated?
Oh yeah. I think that's is that by Area 50? Area
50, yeah, I think so.
57,
Heinz 57. Right.
But places, and boys, that place dicey.
But if you were an alien, why wouldn't you want to go find old hookers and prostitutes?
God, and we stayed in such a rundown, old, fucked up. I got the suite, by the way, but the suite is not so sweet when it's from the 60s, and there's a jacuzzi tub that God knows what kind of debauchery went on in there. And I had the carpet. In my room, I had the indoor-outdoor carpet, and the seam was busted, like it was pulling apart at the seam. And the place was so scary that when I got out of the shower, I didn't want to walk barefoot to the living room, like through the living room.
I feel the same way. Do you get in the bathtubs in hotels ever? Do you ever lay on the bedspread?
No, not lay on. No. This place scared me. I was on the first floor, and the back of my bedroom, the whole window thing was the back parking lot right off the highway, so you'd see the headlights come pulling in, and if some guy was drunk, he'd just drive right through your bedroom. God damn, that was a shitty 3 days in Pahrump. Area 51.
That's
right.
I loved it. God bless.
Yeah, that place is a fucked up dump, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And there was a winery there where I almost choked to death and died on my chicken, and you simply looked at me.
I didn't exactly snap into action.
You didn't jump immediately.